To preview our game against Brighton, we'll start off with Vinny at Sky.
Sean, first of all, have you had any update as regards the appeal process and when you're likely to get a verdict?
No, we haven't got a clue, or I certainly haven't at the moment. The guidelines that you suggest and we suggest have been around about the end of the month, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Is that the same situation as regards to takeover as well?
I don't know any more on that. I've told you I've had one brief meeting and that's it. You know, it's certainly not in my hands. It's way in the hands of the powers that be, checking all their due diligence. I don't think that's changed. I think that's an ongoing process as far as I know.
Because of those two situations, though, it does feel like the club is in a little bit of limbo, and that surely can't be helpful for yourself, can't be helpful for the players.
Yeah, I think I don't know all the legalities of appeals and all that, of course, but you know, I think it's in everyone's interest. Firstly, our own, of course, but I think the greater good of football. I think everyone's wondering. They were all scratching notes on the first one, so they're all sort of saying, well, when is it going to come to a close? And during that period, of course, you still look at a league table that they adjusted immediately and took 10 points away, but we don't know where that 10 points is fact still. So, you know, therefore it would be helpful if it's sooner rather than later. But as I said, I don't know how the legal process, you know, the timescales and why it takes so long. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Does that mean then that the uncertainty is beginning to impact yourself, the players?
No, I don't think so. I think the players have been working very hard, very diligently, very pleased with what they're doing, you know, on a daily basis, and the game profiles when we get it right. A few times we haven't. So I don't think it is in a literal way of every day's business, but I'm sure at the back of their minds they're still wondering, you know, come on then, you know, when are you going to tell us where we're at and give us more of a factual kind of view of it? But as I told you originally, we were in the same mindset. It is where it is, and that's it. So we look at where it is now and then see what comes. And unfortunately, that process is taking some time.
How much then are you having to accentuate the positives at the moment, which includes obviously the defensive record, just 33 goals conceded in the Premier League, same as Aston Villa, only Arsenal, City and Liverpool conceded fewer. So
yeah, I mean, I'm pleased with that side of things, and that's the whole team. You know, a lot is made about individuals sometimes, about playing in a unit, in the back unit, but I think we ask, the players to defend from the front, and I think they're getting better at that. The tactical shape and understanding of the side, I think, has improved. And then finding that balance with scoring goals. We know that's the biggest part of the challenge so far is transitioning in the chances we're making to actual finishes and actual goals. And I think that's obviously still a work in progress. It always is, the defence side as well, but I do like the defensive framework of the whole team and how we've been operating.
What are you seeing as the biggest problem in front of the goal? Why it's not quite happening?
I think it's like I spoke about. You know, how do you find the freedom to finish? You know, how do you find the freedom to miss even? You know, these are things that are, you know, going into the final moment, and I think trying to work with the players on literally freeing that up. You know, I'm not on them for missing. I told you this all the time. I'm on them for not being in the right place. You know, go into the right areas. If you miss, you miss. That's the way it goes. I made a joke of Duke the other night, but it was a genuine joke because he's in the right spot. I don't mind him miss. That's the way it goes. But, you know, you're in the right spot, score a goal. He's nice and alive. He gets himself onside. Attacking the maybes, as I call it. You know, where is it going to land? Maybe it will land here. Maybe it will land there. And he's reading that situation, anticipating it. So you want that kind of freedom to be in there in the right areas. And then the final moment of truth is whoever that comes to, you know, finding the clarity to find a finish.
Again, though, it seems that a lot of the focus when it comes to goal scoring is on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and his run without a goal at the moment. Is that fair, given that, as you say, defending is the whole team responsible?
I think whether it's fair or not, that's strikers, isn't it? That's being a striker. That's the reality of the role. You know, all strikers, I'm sure, should at least, I'm not saying they all do, but they should want the adulation of being a striker and scoring goals. That's part of the fuel that you'd have as a striker, I would suggest, is that feeling, that amazing feeling when you do score, especially at Goodison. The crowd generally erupt. I think they know the responsibility. That's part of their role. That's part of their responsibility. Having said that, of course, as I've said many times, I say it to the players all the time, it's not just the striker's responsibility to score goals, because we want them to work, we want them to defend, we want them to do the hard yards for the team. So therefore, we've got to pay that back with other people scoring. Excuse me.
What impact, though, do you see this run without a goal having on Dominic? I mean, the positive is that he's getting a good run of games.
Yeah, staying fit. I think he's playing stronger all the time. I thought he did the other day. And I think the impact is what it is. I think strikers know that's the rules of their job. You know, if it's not quite working, how do you get it to work for you? And I think key habits are important. You know, it's as I said, getting in the right areas, arriving at the right times in the right places, and you've got to keep doing that.
Do you have to remind him that it was 4 and 6 before this run?
No, not really. I think he knows. I think he knows where he's at. And like I say, there's enough noise in football now. Do you think he's thinking like there's no noise about him not scoring? I'm pretty sure he knows that.
Again, the other night he was in position as well. The chance at the
Yeah. Great ball from Dyche. The right run. I don't know, a yard or two, and it goes in. That's sometimes the way it is. But I think, like I said, it's staying with the habits, getting in the right areas, keep producing the performances if you're not scoring to help the team, and I think he's doing that.
In terms of what you can expect against Brighton, I mean, how do you see it? Because obviously it was a hard-fought draw at Goodison earlier this season, very different to what happened down at their place last season.
Yeah, well, they've shown again they're a good outfit. We know that. Reblended the team, having missed a few players or players leaving, and still a good outfit. The home record's been very good for a number of seasons. But yeah, we found a way. I thought at home we gave a good performance, kept them to very minimal chances. Didn't create as many as we'd like to ourselves, but it was a good tactical performance. I think you have to do that against these. I think tactically you have to be right. Equally, you have to be right on transition. Most teams who do well against them have worked well on transition, including ourselves, of course, last season. But you can't just rely on that. We've got to play as well. We've got to work with the ball and in possession when we get it as well as getting the tactical sort of framework of the side right. So.
Has it impacted the mindset to be out of the bottom three as well?
Well, I think it's just something that sometimes people forget. We got 10 points taken off us, and suddenly you're thrust back into I think it was second bottom at that time. And I think after losing at Man U, we might have gone 5 points out of it. I can't remember, 4 or 5 points out of it. And now we're back above it. So, it's a fair marker. It's not the perfect marker, but it's a fair swing that when you've had 10 points taken off you. So we're just waiting. Look, the appeal, we don't know what's going to happen. It could make a big difference, could make a medium difference, might make a small difference. We don't know. But there's plenty of work to be done, that's for sure. And I think the players are putting in plenty of work. I see them every day. I think they're very diligent, and I think the professionalism have been excellent. And now taking that onto the pitch and staying with the belief system in playing how we are playing and finding the finishes, as you rightly say, to win games. And I think we're close.
Kind of sums up the topsy-turvy nature of the season, doesn't it? Because even after the points deduction, you opened up a gap between yourselves and the bottom three as well at one point.
Well, there hasn't been much calm water since I've been at this club, that's for sure. The odd week, and then another wave comes and hits you in the face. So let's see how it tumbles forward.
Just finally from me, Sean, just check the injuries. Obviously, Dan Juma, take it, not ready yet. How far away? Seamus recovered from
Yeah, it was early in the week. At least he was back in today. Still sounds a little bit groggy, but he's the pro he is. Arnie's working very hard to get fit. Andre's working very hard to get fit. The others are more or less okay. Miko's took a knock, but I think hopefully he'll be all right. I think everyone else is okay.
Yeah, take it to Corey, no reaction as well.
No, we had to monitor his minutes, of course, but no, he's been out there training today.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks for me. We'll go to Damien.
Actually, just one from me on Dominic. How much are you hoping that the return of Doucouré is going to maybe take a bit of pressure off him, improve the service to him?
I don't think it's about taking any pressure off anyone. Pressure's there in all of certainly our professional lives, that's sure, and certainly in football. So I think that's what you adapt to as a player. And you sort of need somewhat of a pressure. You need something to help stimulate other than your own stimulation. So I think that's part and parcel of it. And the top players take pressure all the time. So I will say to the younger players here, well, for all the players, but specifically younger players, that's what your growth is. It's handling the question marks, it's handling the pressure and still delivering. And I think that's all part of it. Dom's a bit older and wiser, of course. But amongst a group who are, it's not just about Dom and Duke, I can assure you. Dwight pitched in with a number of goals last year. Jack Harrison's got goals in him from his previous record. We've got goals elsewhere in the team. Our set pieces are a massive threat. We know that. So, there's other ways of scoring. But it is obviously helpful and helpful to them as individuals when strikers are scoring. That is quite obvious.
Just on the first, you said it's possibly at the back of the players' minds. Is it not the subject of daily conversation around the training ground?
No, absolutely not. No point to that. Well, can't do anything about it until it's done. So if we had a million conversations, not going to change what's happening in an appeal process. It's up to them to decide that.
Thanks, Damien. We'll go to Ian at Radio Man.
Hi, Sean.
Hey.
Just going back to putting the ball in the back of the net, there were some positives in terms of the delivery that came in to players like Dominic the other night from Dwight McNeil, and Dwight obviously with the delivery for the goal as well. So that's the other important aspect of it is getting the delivery right. And are you confident that you're seeing a bit more of that now?
I don't think I've been seeing less of it all season. I think the stats and facts, I don't rely heavily on them all the time, but they have to be put into the melting pot, and that suggested that we are getting the ball into key areas, we are getting people into key areas, we are creating chances. So, you don't, like I say, it's not the only way of looking at it, but you have to look at the stats, the analysis, the facts, and of course your feel. I thought the other night was a good example of that. First half we were off it, second half was a very good performance. Very good performance statistically. The feel it wasn't as good as what the stats shown. So that's a difference. My job is to look at both, the feel that I have of performance and the facts and the stats. So I've certainly not questioned the crossing abilities. At times we put better quality in. I thought Dwight's ball in for Dom was a fantastic ball in the second half, especially a very, very tough technical cross that when you're cutting in to reshape, to get the shape on it into the box. So excellent delivery. Set pieces, our delivery's been very good over the season so far. We want that to continue. I think it's like all of these things, that the details, not just the stats and facts, it's the quality moment, the detail in the moment. They're often the deciding factors. Defensively, we've been good with that. Attacking-wise, we haven't been as good with them details, and that's what we're going to continue to work correcting.
And Dwight and Decore, I remember last season at Brighton, had particularly good nights. I don't know whether you start from scratch, it's all gone that now, but do players, when they go back to a place like that where they've had a good experience, does that give you a bit of a...
Well, we'll see, but I hope so. It's an enjoyable experience, that's for sure. No, look, they're a good outfit, and I think we know that. I think that was probably a hiccup in their season that time, and we made that happen, though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it wasn't because they weren't playing well or they weren't a good side, because they are a good side. We know that. But no, I think we focused on our performance that night. We normally do, and we've got to do that again, because they're still a very strong outfit, and the home record suggests that.
And as it was last season, this again could be, if you can win this game, could give you a real boost, regardless of the points that you
I hear that every week here for a year. This is a big game. Every game's a big game at Everton Football Club. So we just take another one on.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Andy at Association.
Yeah. Hi, Sean. Just away from Everton, Joe Hart's announced today that he's retiring at the end of the season. Given you worked with him at Burnley, just wondering if you could give your thoughts on what a career he's had.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of thoughts from a lot of people. Mine was a very good experience with a really good professional, good guy as well, and he adapted to everything we asked of him at Burnley Football Club. So I think he's had an amazing career, and I'm surprised he's actually leaving, because from what I know, I don't keep up endlessly with Scottish football. I think he's done very well up there, and I think he's enjoyed his time there, but he's obviously felt it's right. So whatever comes next for him, I wish him well.